Hello guys, welcome back. We discussed about service models in the previous video. So let's have a simple quiz for highlighting and recapping what are the things which we have learned in the previous session. So now let us move on with question by question. So let me provide the first question. What is the first question? Is there any service provider? Is there any cloud service provider who provides software directly as a service to me? Is there any service provider who provides directly software as service to me? The answer is what? I hope you answered. Yeah. Yes. There is a service provider who provides software as service to me. Now let's move on to next question. What do we call that service provider? What do we call that service provider in cloud who provides the software directly? What do we call that service provider in cloud who provides this software directly? So I hope you answered this question as well. The answer is software as service. Software as service. In short, how do we call it? SaaS. In short, we call it as SaaS. Okay, let's move to next question. Now, can you provide an example for SaaS in real time? An example for SaaS, that is software as service in real time. I hope you answered this question as well. Let me provide you the answer. Email. What is that? Email. It's one of the example. Okay. We are just used this email software to send emails, but the service is provided by Google. So Google is responsible for software. We don't need to take care of that software. Okay, let's move on to next question. Now the question number is 4. The question is, can you tell me what are the responsibilities that we or client need to take care of while using SaaS model? While using software as service model, software as service model, what is client responsibility? What are client responsibilities, sir? I hope you answered this question. Nothing. We just gonna use the software. That's it. We are not responsible for anything in the software as a service model. Okay. Then what are the responsibilities of cloud provider for software service model? So for this, while we are using software as service, right? Yeah, we are using the software as service. Who providing this? Cloud provider. So now the question is, what are the cloud provider responsibilities? So I hope you answered this question as well. Let me provide you the answer for this. Cloud provider need to take care of application. That application is provided by cloud provider only, right? Yeah. And it's a data, application data, whatever the data which is present for the application, that also need to maintain by the cloud provider. And whatever the operating system, that is also need to be maintained by the cloud provider. And whatever the virtualization That virtualization also need to maintain by the cloud provider, and what are the virtual machines that need to host his website or else software, that also need to maintain by the cloud provider. And what are the hardware those are required for hosting virtual machines are also taken care by the cloud provider only. And what are the networking that is needed for their systems, that also need to be taken care by the cloud provider. And data center, what are the whole data center, that whole thing also need to be taken care by whom? Cloud provider only. So these are the responsibilities of the cloud provider, where in SaaS model. Okay, I hope you answered this question as well. Let's say I have an application. So I have an application. I need to host it. Is there any single platform in cloud to host this, to host my application? Is there any single platform in cloud? Is there any single platform in cloud to host my application? So I hope you answered this question as well. Yes, there is a platform for me. So now let's move on to another question on this. Now the question is question number 7. So what is this question? What do we call that platform providing service model in cloud? What do we call? What do we call that platform providing service model in cloud? So is the question. I hope you answered this. We call that platform service model providing in cloud as platform as a service. Platform as service. In short, we can even call it as PaaS. In short, we can even call it as PaaS. So now let's move on to another question. Since we are going to use AWS, can you provide me a service in AWS as an example for PaaS? For this platform as service, can you provide an example in AWS? Yeah, we have discussed an example, that is what? Elastic Beanstalk. What is that? Elastic Beanstalk. So this is a service which we are going to use in AWS for platform as service model. So now let's move on to another question on this Elastic Beanstalk. So now let us ask, what is this Elastic Beanstalk, sir? What is this Elastic Beanstalk? So I hope you provide the answer for this. So let me provide you the answer. It is a platform in AWS. What is this? It is a platform in AWS. Okay, AWS cloud. Where what we can able to do there, sir? Where in that platform we can able to host our application and application data. So there we can able to host our application as well as our application data. It is nothing but a service, or else you can say it's a platform in cloud, whereas we can able to host our application or data. So now let's move on to another question. In this SaaS model, what are the client responsibilities, sir? What are the client responsibilities in this software as a service? Sorry, this platform as a service, right? In this platform as a service, what are the client responsibilities, sir? Client responsibilities. I hope you answered this question. Since we are providing our application, we need to maintain our application and application data as well. Application data as well. So we are responsible for our application and our application data while we are using platform as a service model in the cloud. So let's move on to another question. Now the question is, what's the question number? It's 11th, right? Yeah. So now the question is, what are the responsibilities of cloud provider? That is nothing but AWS, right? This cloud provider. In this SaaS model, what are in SaaS model? You can say in SaaS model, software as service model, what are the responsibilities that are taken care by cloud provider? So I hope you answered this question as well. Cloud provider need to take care of whatever the operating system that we want, since they are providing us, so they are responsible for it. And whatever the virtual machines that they are hosting on their virtualization layer, so they need to take care of their virtualization layer as well. And they need to take care of whatever the hardware that they are providing and whatever the physical machines that they are providing, and data center also, right? And they need to even maintain networking. What they need to maintain? Networking and so on. So whatever the client responsibilities in the software as service, we just need to take care of. We just need to take care of application and its data. Whereas cloud provider, who is the cloud provider? He is the responsible for all the other things in this platform as a service model. So let's have another question. Question number question number 12. Since I do not have control over my VMs and its operating system and networking in the software as service and networking in this software service model, I am now expecting control over these services as well, in addition to control over application and application data. Is there any service model in cloud which provides me the control over all these, but I don't want to maintain my data center? Now, cloud answered this as yes, there is service model. What is the type of service model? Where it provides me the whole infrastructure, sir. So is there any model, or else you can say, is there any service model which provides control over all infrastructure of which provides control over all infrastructure in which provides control over infrastructure in cloud. Is there any service, sir? Yeah, there is a service which provides you control over your infrastructure in the data center. What is the service? That service is IaaS. What is that? IaaS. So what do we call that in long form? We call that as infrastructure as a service. What is that? Infrastructure as a service. What is IaaS? I hope you answered this. Let me provide you. Infrastructure as a service. So now let's move on to next question. In which service do we create servers in AWS? Since we are using AWS, right? In which service? In which service we create? Do we create servers in AWS? In which service we are going to create our servers in AWS, sir? EC2. In EC2, we are going to create our servers in AWS. So now let's move on to another question. What do we call these servers in cloud? What do we call these servers in cloud? So I hope you answered this question as well. We call these servers as instances. So we call these servers as instances. Okay. Now, if I create servers by using EC2, if I create servers by using EC2, if I create servers using EC2, then what do I call? What do I call these servers? What do I call these servers? I hope you answered this question as well. EC2 instances. EC2 instances. So just two more questions left over. Let's move on through them. So totally, how many models we have, sir? How many service models we have? How many service models we have? Three. So how many? Three. What are they? What are the service models that we learned? What are they? They are, first we learned about infrastructure as service, and secondly platform as service, and finally we learned software as a service model as well. These are the service models that we learned. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you have finished this quick recap of questions on this model service models in the AWS. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. See you back in the next video. Until then, bye bye.